welcome back to Merry Little Xmas. We're starting a new series on this channel called 5 Golden Things. Today, my top 5 favorite Christmas movies. Let's get started. Onesie today because I was talking to my mom on the phone this morning and she questioned why I had not worn a Christmas onesie in a video yet. So I wore a Christmas onesie for this video because my mom basically told me to. Yes. Want to give some credit to the title of this series to Tim Babb from Can't Wait for Christmas podcast, because while I was thinking of what I wanted to name this series, it popped into my head. I was like, 5 golden things, that would be awesome. And then I very quickly realized that the reason such a wonderful idea popped into my head was because it already existed. And I have talked about Tim Babb a few times. I have talked about him. And if you haven't checked out his podcast yet, he does a segment in every episode called 5 Golden Things. And I did ask him for permission and he said go for it, that he highly doubts he's the first one to think of it, which he's probably right. But I did want to give that credit to Tim Babb from the Can't Wait for Christmas podcast. In full transparency, many categories that will be in this 5 Golden Things series are actually 5. Movies are not. But because I love the name 5 Golden Things and not 10 movies a-leaping, right? It's 10 lords a-leaping, 10 movies a-leaping. I don't know. But we're going to pretend it's 5. We're all going to be okay with it and approach this with the spirit of Christmas, of accepting, and that's just it. And with that, we're going to start with number 5. So my number 5 favorite Christmas movie is Christmas with the Kranks with Jamie Lee Curtis and Tim Allen. Now, I was making this list and checking it twice, and it actually originally wasn't on the list. When I rethought about the list after checking it twice, I realized it is one of my favorites, and there's a little bit of a story for this one. So when I was in college, I was just having a movie day and ended up watching Christmas with the Kranks. And while I was watching it, the scene, if you've seen the movie, you know, there's this whole scene with like the race to get the last honey baked ham in the store. And I was watching it and something in me like snapped on and I was like, I need Boston Market. And so I texted my roommates and I was like, who's down for Boston Market for dinner? I need it. And all of them were in. We ended up going to Boston Market for dinner. That one trip, which was inspired by me watching Christmas with the Kranks, probably in like September, was the beginning of like roommate Boston Market dinner trips. Then for a while, Christmas with the Kranks was on Netflix. It is not anymore, or at least not right now. But for a while it was, and so I would turn it on often because easy access. I have all of these on DVD, obviously, but it's just so much easier when it's on a streaming service. But yeah, that's my little story about Christmas with the Kranks, and I think because of that moment and because it kind of started this tradition that I had for a while, it has like that special place in my heart. Number 4 is Home Alone. Now, I'm grouping Home Alone 1 and Home Alone 2 together as number 4. Anything after Home Alone 2 in my mind does not exist. But Home Alone 1 and Home Alone 2 are obviously amazing. They're classics. I actually just yesterday, as I'm filming this, watched the Movies That Made Us on Netflix about Home Alone, which was so good. So highly recommend that. But I actually will say, and I feel like I'm a minority in this, so let me know in the comments below if I'm not a minority, but I will say that I like Home Alone 2 better than Home Alone. I think it is the New York aspect. I'm a sucker for a New York story, let's be honest. 2 years ago, our Christmas tree was named Kevin because we were watching Home Alone while decorating it, and we always decorate our tree watching a Christmas movie, and then we name the tree based on the movie that we watched. And when I say we, I mean me. My boyfriend helps, but I'm the one that names the inanimate object. Number 3, and how fitting for my number 3 favorite Christmas movie, I'm going to bunch together a trilogy. For number 3, it is the Santa Claus Trilogy. Now, I think we can all agree that Tim Allen is our Santa Claus. Tim Allen is the Santa Claus quite literally. I feel like that was like the tagline of the movie when it came out. Tim Allen is the Santa Claus. I actually like all 3 of them, and for a bunch of different reasons. Now, I will say I can rank the Santa Claus movies by 1, 2, and 3, and I actually think that my ranking is 1, 2, 3. So there's that. 1 I love because it's the Santa Claus. Like, it's the original movie. It has all that 90s goodness in it. I feel like us 90s babies all crave all the time. It was just quite literally a simpler time. Now, the second one, the storyline of the toy Santa Claus it's not great. I'll say that. It's not great. It's not a great storyline. I really don't love it. But what I do love is Scott Calvin being back, trying to find a Mrs. Claus, connecting with Charlie again, and that whole storyline. And Comet the reindeer is really cute. Also, and I think the biggest reason why we stan, if you will, the Santa Claus 2 is because it brought us one of the greatest Christmas songs of all time, and that is Hilary Duff's Santa Claus Lane. More on that in another video. The reason why I love Santa Claus 3, I actually know a lot of people do not love Santa Claus 3, but I just love Martin Short. I mean, that's the reason. I love Martin Short, and he's in it, so I like the movie. So one of my favorite lines from the Santa Claus trilogy is from the Santa Claus 2, and it's very like fresh in my brain because I actually was watching the movie the other day, and it's when, what's his name? Spencer Breslin's character, in the very beginning of the movie, when they first notice that Santa is like starting to trim down and lose his beard a little bit, he just stares at him and goes, "The desanitification process has begun!" I just think it's so funny, and he's so intense. I don't know. I love the Santa Claus movies. Number 2 means a lot to me, and I feel like for many of you watching, this is not going to be the movie that you think is going to be on this list. But here it is. Get ready. Eloise at Christmastime. Eloise at Christmastime is a fantastic film, and I will shout it from the rooftops. I love the Eloise franchise. I love both of the movies. I love Eloise at Christmastime a little bit more. As you probably know, I'm very involved in theater, and I love Broadway. Now, there is a character in the Eloise movie franchise named Bill, and he works at the Plaza, and him and Eloise are very good friends, and he's an aspiring actor. And Bill is played by Broadway's Gavin Creel. He has come to my home, like, touring house theater, the Broward Center in Fort Lauderdale. I decided to bring some Eloise merch stuff that I had to see if he would sign it. So I walk up with my stuff and I said, "Hey, Gavin, would you sign my Eloise stuff?" And he laughed and he goes, "I have never been asked to sign Eloise merchandise before, but I would love nothing more." So he signed both. This one is old. I don't really actually even know where I got it. It's pretty old though. So it's a little paper ornament, but on the back it says "Bill loves you," and he signed it. And then this is a door hanger that I bought at the Eloise shop in the Plaza Hotel, but this one says "To Becca, love Bill," and he signed it Gavin Creel. So I love Eloise, and that's a little fun anecdote. And as a bonus, if you're not familiar with the Eloise franchise, Julie Andrews is in it. So Gavin Creel doesn't sell you. Julie Andrews should sell you on the movie. So we have made it to honorable mentions. Noelle. So Noelle premiered with Disney Plus on what I believe was November 12th. And while everyone was super excited about just Disney Plus existing in general, I had heard about Noelle and I was so excited about it. First of all, I love Anna Kendrick. Bottom line. I also love Bill Hader. Like, it's a good cast. Shirley MacLaine is in it, which is huge. And it was what I was most excited about with the Disney Plus launch. And I watched it, I think on November 12th, and it's so good. I watched it many times. I watched it like 2 nights ago, and it's still so good. It like didn't die with the hype for me. Like, it's a Christmas movie. And I think that is something that we've kind of gotten away from in more recent years, hence the reason why my list is filled with older movies. It has the Linus moment, you know, and when I say Linus moment, for those of you that don't know, it's does the movie have a I know what Christmas is all about, Charlie Brown moment. So in Noelle, there's definitely a Linus moment. When I watched the movie for the first time, I was like, oh my God, this is gonna be amazing. Disney's gonna be selling Noelle merchandise up the wazoo for Christmas, and it's gonna be so great, and I'm gonna buy all of it. And then that never happened. And what I think ended up happening was they could have put the movie up maybe like December 1st or something, and because it wouldn't have launched with everything else on Disney Plus, it would have gotten a little bit more love. So I'm hopeful that maybe this Christmas season, Noelle gets a little bit more love than it got in 2019. Regardless, I really love it. If you haven't watched it, watch it. It's on Disney Plus. If you do not have a Disney Plus, ask your friend who does have it for their account and watch the movie. Now you may be thinking to yourself, wow, there are 2 big Christmas movies that haven't been mentioned yet, and she only has 1 movie left in her list. So like, which one is it gonna be? Yeah, I understand where this confusion might lie, and that is because they're both my number 1. So my number 1 Christmas movie for my 5 Golden Things Christmas movie edition is both Elf and the Jim Carrey version of How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I just can't pick. In my Get to Know Me Christmas edition, I talked at length about what the Grinch means to me. So if you haven't watched that and you want to hear me talk way too much about how much I love the Grinch, go ahead and watch that video. But Elf, bottom line, is just hilarious. It's a hilarious film. And I still like cackle at that movie, specifically when he is running around New York and like is jumping across the street and gets hit by the cab. I don't know why that's so funny to me. Everyone loves Elf. Like, I actually say he's an angry elf a lot, like about people who are angry. I bring that line out quite often. And also when it comes to the Grinch, I may have mentioned this in my other video, but I say now that's holiday a lot. Yeah, so I hope it's not disappointing that like the 2 heavy hitters are my favorite, but I really thought, you know, like I mentioned earlier, made my list, checked it twice, and I cannot, I've never been able to pick which one of them is my favorite. So that is my list of my 5 golden things for my favorite Christmas movies. Leave a comment down below if I mentioned your favorite Christmas movie or if you have a different favorite Christmas movie. Santa knows that there are so many options when it comes to Christmas movies, so there are definitely ones that didn't make my list of 5, also 10, also I don't even know how many there were. But anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, hit that jingle bell notification, give it a thumbs up, and all that good Christmassy stuff. As always, if you'd like to follow my everyday adventures, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at BexyBoohoo. And other than that, I will see you next time. Happy holidays!